Good day everyone, how's it going? I'm Sean David and welcome to the show. In today's episode, I want to talk about, one of the first new generation power forwards, VIN Baker. Somehow forgotten and actually had a very interesting rise and fall story, but I think he also had a rise story again, but let's see. But before we start with this video, if you like this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, if you want to get more access to exclusive videos, check out my Patreon account. And I would say without any more blah blah, let's get right into today's episode. I want to start off this video by taking a look at the NBA career of VIN Baker, how he got to All-Star status, and what happened right after. VIN Baker was born on the 23rd November in 1971 in Lake Wales, Florida. He played for the Old Saybrook High School in Connecticut, and he was overlooked by many bigger D1 schools, which is why he had to start to play for the varsity team in his first year. But Baker really worked hard at his game and was offered a scholarship in only his second season. VIN Baker played college ball for the Hartford University, again a small college, but Baker quickly made a name for himself to be one of the better college players in the country.
6'11" VIN Baker of the University of Hartford was the fourth leading scorer in the NCAA last year, averaging 28 points a game. Baker became Hartford's all-time leading scorer and ECAC Player of the Year.
At the 1993 NBA draft, Baker was selected by the Milwaukee Bucks with the 8th pick overall.
Back to the Palace in Auburn Hills, Michigan at the 1993 NBA draft.
With the 8th pick in the 1993 NBA draft, the Milwaukee Bucks select VIN Baker from the University of Hartford.
From Little Hartford comes VIN Baker. 6'10 and a half, 225 pounds, 22 years old.
It was really strange because Baker really proved that he was a very good player, but still he had very many doubters in the NBA who didn't believe that Baker could be one of the better players. But he quickly proved his doubters wrong.
I think, when I came into the league, I felt I had a lot of things to accomplish and a lot of people to show that I belonged.
And he would emphatically put any doubts to rest.
Alive, still fighting for it. Great effort by VIN Baker, and now he takes it to the hole.
He is going to be some kind of player. He already is.
Sherman Douglas lobs it to Baker. Wow, what a play.
He's versatile, he's mobile, he is agile, he's everything.
Clock at 7. Baker looking for the tie, the turnaround. Count it!
A rather unknown out of college at Hartford, but he's become a well-known player here in the NBA.
But it's not only in the low post where Baker displays his remarkable talent.
I love taking the ball off the rim and being able to push it. It's kind of like that thing that everybody wants to do. Every small guy wants to be a big fella, and every big fella wants to be a small guy.
VIN with the dribble on the right side, takes it all the way, and jams it.
There's different kinds of fast breaks. One of them is let your big man go all the way, coast to coast.
So I love taking the ball off the rim and having a chance to create something or do something that, most people don't ordinarily think guys 6'11" or 7 feet can do.
VIN Baker to NBA chest pass drill level B.
VIN, thanks for coming. I'd like to show you something.
Jersey test positive. Commence starter sub performance analysis.
These with the others. Today we're simulating a home game to test thermal protection.
Yeah! You're the man!
You ever been to Milwaukee?
Temperature reduction in progress.
In 1994, the Milwaukee Bucks had the first pick of the NBA draft and they selected Glenn Big Dog Robinson. So now the Milwaukee Bucks had two potential NBA superstars. Both players were putting up incredible numbers, especially VIN Baker, who was always averaging about 20 points and 10 rebounds. But because the Eastern Conference was super strong, you had the Miami Heat, the Chicago Bulls, the New York Knicks, the Indiana Pacers, and so on, the Milwaukee Bucks weren't really winning. And this was kind of hard for VIN Baker.
VIN Baker wants the ball badly. Newman finally gives it to him. Double team comes. Missed shot. Tipped her.
VIN Baker can bang the boards with the best of them and has become a bigger star in Milwaukee than the big dog himself. Milwaukee fans have always got a lot of bang out of their bucks over the years. Players like Lou Alcindor, Bob Lanier, and Sidney Moncrief, to name just three. But based on his numbers thus far, Baker has a shot to be one of the best Bucks yet.
At that point, Vin Baker was a real NBA superstar. Even though he was playing for the Milwaukee Bucks, so at a small market, he was really one of the new generation power forwards, a power forward who could bring up the ball, who could handle the ball, who could shoot, who could score, and he really had a bright future ahead of him. But then there was also the fall of his career.
Once obscure, Baker had now emerged as a marquee performer for the Milwaukee Bucks. He was named an All-Star in 3 of his first 4 seasons. But then his career would take an unexpected turn when he was traded to the Seattle Sonics.
I've been on a team where we talked about making the playoffs to a team that's talking about winning the West, so it's a whole different feeling for me, and I'm excited about it.
The trade was very hard for Vin Baker because the Seattle Supersonics lost their favorite player in Sean Kemp, so the pressure was really high for Vin. And even though the first season with the Sonics didn't look too bad, people started to realize that Vin was gaining more and more weight and his game started to decline, even though he was not even 30 years old. In only his second season with the Seattle Supersonics, his points per game dropped from 19 points to 13 points, and he went from being the first scoring option on the team to the third. Unfortunately for Baker, it didn't get better in the next couple of years, even though he still stayed with the Seattle Supersonics, gone were his All-Star days and his All-Star performances. In the 2000-2001 season, Baker lost his starting position and became a better role player. So the Seattle Supersonics traded him the season after to the Boston Celtics, where he only averaged 5 points per game. Then it became public what many people suspected. Vin Baker was an alcoholic. Many years later, Baker would confirm that it got so bad at some point that he actually was drunk at practice and was sent home a couple of times. After only one season, Baker had to leave the Celtics and he continued to play for the New York Knicks, the Houston Rockets, and the Los Angeles Clippers, and retired at the age of 34. And even though I just mentioned a couple of other NBA teams, he only played 8 games for the Clippers, 3 games for the Houston Rockets, and 24 and 17 games for the New York Knicks. To conclude, his last 4 seasons were really rock bottom. And when you think it can't get any worse, well, it got worse. He basically lost all of his money doing wrong investments, lending money to the wrong people, using a lot of money for his addictions, and at the age of 35, that guy was completely broke. A couple of years later, I saw an article in the newspaper saying that Vin Baker was actually working at a Starbucks, and I couldn't believe it. How can one of my favorite players from back in the days go from an NBA All-Star to working at Starbucks? But I guess it's best if Vin Baker explains it by himself.
So you inherit opportunities by coming to the NBA, but you also get a lifestyle.
If you're not capable of having discretion, then you'll fall into it. I didn't come from a party background, but once I started to drink and hang out and party, it went from casual fun to I really need to drink. Now I have to do it to survive because my body is not responding without one. So it got really bad.
Did you drink during games?
Yeah, there were times that I had to. I think the pressure of maintaining this level of basketball made me anxious. And I would have withdrawals, the shakes, the noise of the crowd that I would drink during games to maintain an even keel. Otherwise, I would be anxious, my body shaking. Maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was because I didn't realize I'd become an alcoholic.
No more hiding. Your game falters. You're traded to Boston. You're found out. Suspensions, releases. You lose your career and everything with it.
The name Vin Baker at that time wasn't good. All the stories, all the rumors, all the money lost, I couldn't fight it at that point. I was already humbled. I had done so much wrong with alcoholism, and some of the choices that I morally made was against God and everything that I stood for and everything that He wanted me to be.
The in and out of rehabs, this last one was different. And didn't you tell them I'll be out in a week?
I had a real conversation with the Lord. I need you now. And I cried out going to rehab. All I needed was get physically well so that I wouldn't have seizures. But my spirit was made up. And then I knew that the maintenance was going to be coming to the Lord and coming to church and prayer.
To get back on his feet, Vin reached out to one of his former NBA owners, Starbucks executive director Howard Schultz.
I consider Howard family and a close friend, and he did take a chance on me, and I'm grateful for that opportunity that he gave me to come in here, put this green apron on, and to wake up in the morning to open up a store for 4:30. A lot of peace.
Coming out of recovery, I needed a place where I could grind and work, literally and figuratively, out a lot of things that I was going through spiritually, and this is where I found that place at Starbucks.
A career that was born in Milwaukee.
It was amazing. I can go over that night in my mind to this day.
Has come full circle.
Greg Kashan alongside Vin Baker. Great to see you again, Vinny.
From first-round draft pick, four-time NBA All-Star, Olympian, minister, barista, author, and broadcaster, Vin Baker has played every role in the tale of his long journey home.
I want to be a beacon of light. I came to share the story of redemption.
Hey you guys, if you're active on Facebook, I can really recommend Open Court. As an NBA fan, you should find everything you need. If it's funny NBA videos, impressive highlights, or even NBA news, I check out Open Court every day.